Welcome to the Recovery Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Abbasi. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. And today I wanted to talk about the idea of this too shall pass. This is a topic that came up in my morning meeting, in my second morning meeting, and it really resonated with me, especially this week as I am like getting into the swing of things as far as lake life, as they say. And so my husband and I have been just nonstop, unpacking boxes and decorating, getting things on Amazon, like the things that we need, making sure the dogs are settled, trying to do some dog training throughout. So they have been just constantly underfoot, like predicting my every move because they don't want to be left behind, is what it feels like. Anyway, we were outside and had a little hiccup, as it were, with a piece of outdoor like garden equipment, and my husband dropped something and it landed on my ankle, and it just culminated into an instant of just frustration for both of us. And the way that I get obsessive about things, the way that my invisible illnesses work inside my head, is I immediately start telling myself, like, well, that was short-lived, meaning, okay, nothing's in the grand scheme of my life, nothing has changed or something. I was framing it in such a way that it was like, no matter where I go, there I am, kind of thing. And I was making myself feel bad just in general, instead of just taking the moment for what it was. And what I didn't do when that happened, I actually went into my room and took a 3-hour nap, which is definitely what I needed. And I still feel very symptomatic. When I get stressed, I get extremely symptomatic, more so than I already am. And so I laid down and took a nap. But what I didn't do is remember what we were talking about in my morning meeting this morning. I have the tools that are presented to me every day, but I don't always pay attention to them. So the morning meeting had talked about, and I got there late to the meeting, but it sounded like the topic was this too shall pass. And what I heard was, in moments when things are good, it feels like it's it's not going to last, it's like moving into the new house and being like, "Oh, I'm so excited, like I feel so serene, it's beautiful." But then the first thing that happens that just throws me off kilter, then all of a sudden I'm like, well, the good times are fleeting, and life isn't going to be any different, and that's not true. Life is going to be different. It's life changing. And I've had lots of people tell me that living on the water is life changing. And I did go to the water twice today, because I needed to refill my tank twice. But it it really hit me as I was getting ready to record tonight. It's late, it's about 8:40 at night. And what hit me is, wow, Rachel, you did not practice these principles in all of your affairs today. The principles that you were taught this morning, you didn't practice in all of your affairs. So typically, I think of this too shall pass from the perspective of when things are hard and they feel like they're never going to end. It's important to remember that this too shall pass, that even though it feels like it's never going to end, like you will get through it. The only way to it is through it. To the other side is through the sometimes discomfort and fear and pain. And I mean, I know that all too well. I know that side of it. But the side of when I'm feeling like I'm having like a good week, doesn't it sometimes seem like when one thing happens, it's like my entire week is ruined? Or you know how you're having a good day and then you bump your head and then it'll just turn your whole day around where you're just like, I'm having a terrible day. Like it's so easy for me to go from everything is great to having one thing good happen. I mean, one thing bad happen, and then it's like everything sucks. But on the flip side, if I'm having a really shitty day and one thing good happens, it never changes my entire day around. It only makes me feel not so bad, you know? And it's fascinating. I think it's important for me to recognize what's happening between my ears. Like, how can I reflect on this phrase, this too shall pass, equally to suffering and to joy, so that that awareness can teach balance. And what I don't want to be too high and I don't want to be too low, you know? Um, the the realization really that I want to get to is fear exists in both. Fear can be tied to things being really, really good, and fear can be tied to things being really, really bad. And I think that the reason for it is my need to control and my discomfort in the unpredictability of life. And this fear disguises itself in so many different ways. It can disguise itself as really just like a bubble of protection that I've put around me. And if I do that, if I put that bubble of protection around me when I'm having a good day, things aren't so good, if that makes sense, because I'm not letting my guard down. I'm protecting myself from things going bad, just waiting for the other shoe to drop. And that will rob me from that that serenity that's possible. The serenity is possible if stay present and I don't try to look to the future of how is this going to end? Because it's going to end. And how is that going to happen? Um, yeah, I was thinking of an example, and I hate to bring this up, but I'm going to because I don't know if I've ever shared it with anyone in the whole entire world. So I might as well share it with you, the whole entire world. So when I was in high school, there was a guy. I've talked about him before. There was a guy, and his name was John. And I was totally infatuated with this guy, John. We dated for a hot second, and then I broke up with him, and then I wanted to date him again, and then he didn't want to have anything to do with me. Because that's how it works. And so him not wanting to have anything to do with me made me just become totally infatuated, like crazy. I was crazy infatuated with this guy for quite a while. And I would say for a year and a half. And I used to think about how upsetting it would be if something happened to him. Like if he died. Okay? I know that's weird, but I did. I used to think that. And then guess what happened? He died. He died in a motorcycle accident. And I was just completely distraught about it. And I didn't grieve that loss properly until I quit drinking when I was 42. And he passed away when I was a senior, when I graduated, right after I graduated from high school, he passed away. So, what I used to think is how sad it was that I was grieving him. Now, this is my drunk brain and how it used to think, but because I wasn't grieving anything, I was just drinking over all of it. But what I was thinking when I was drinking back then was, isn't it sad that I was grieving his loss before I lost him? I was thinking about what it would be like if I lost him. And that wasn't based in reality. I didn't truly think I was going to lose him, but it was something that I thought about because my invisible illness fed off of itself. My depression fed off of itself. So anything that I could think about that was going to make me feel sad, make me drink more, make me depressed was what I was going to think about. And that's what I did. And then he passed away. And that was completely, unpredictable. I never would have known that that was what was going to happen. But my point of sharing it is that it is the example that is so huge in my life where I was not enjoying what I had, not being grateful for what I had. I was just looking forward to when it was gone, to when it would be gone. Not thinking again that that was realistically going to happen, but I was just very depressed. And I thought about things like that. And so today, I still do the same thing. So a great example is my mom. And if you're listening, I don't think you do, but if you are listening, hi, Mom, I love you. My mom is in her 80s, and she is my bestest of friends, and I love her so much. And a lot of my friends at this age, I'm 52. What? No, I'm 51. If my daughter was listening, she would laugh because we always say that I'm 1 year older than I really am. Um, so lost my train of thought. So a lot of my friends are losing their parents. Um, and it's gotten me very fearful about losing my mom. And what I what I'm very aware of is that I'm not using that energy. Like fear is energy, and I can either have it paralyze me or I can have it propel me, you know? And what I have been doing, what I did with my children when they went off to college is that fear paralyzed me so that I didn't pick up the phone and I didn't call them. And I've always felt a little regretful of that. I know I'm not supposed to, but I've always felt a little regretful of that I allowed my fear of abandonment to paralyze me instead of propel me. And today I reach out to my kids in some way, shape, or form every day. Um, whether it is a text or call. It's usually a text because I'm afraid I'm going to bother them. I know that's terrible. I shouldn't think that. I need to get better at it. But what what has happened recently with a health event with my mom is that I realized that when there was actually something that I had reason to worry about with her health, I at that point was thinking, oh, everything's going to be okay. Like we're waiting for a health report to come back, and I'm thinking, well, don't worry about it. It's going to be the best case scenario. Nothing. So when everything's great, I'm fearing the worst. When everything is going in the wrong direction, when I should be worried, I'm thinking about the best. Like, what is going on? What is going on between my ears? So, I think that what's important and what I know, what I learned from my program is when I talk about the fear, it takes the power away from it and converts it into something useful. Um, when I take action, when I use the fear to propel me instead of paralyze me, I am burning away the fear. Even small intentional steps can create motion and confidence in that direction. So I've started calling my mom more often, sometimes once, sometimes a couple times a week. And that that I feel that fear is like a compass now that is pointing me towards growth. So it is propelling me towards healing. It's propelling me towards action where I'm not going to just and sit in that depression. Um, Things seem to pass, this too shall pass. Things seem to pass more effectively, more quickly, more smoothly if I'm taking action throughout the fear. And what I can do is lean on the spiritual, um, the spiritual recovery tools that I have. Like the very first thing is that willingness to surrender. It doesn't mean that I'm rolling over. And I've talked about that before. Like surrendering isn't rolling over. Surrendering is letting go and knowing that no matter how hard I grip on to my own fist, I've talked about that recently, white knuckling my own fist, no matter how hard I white knuckle my own fists, I'm not going to change anything. But what I can do is let go, open my fist up, open it up and welcome prayer and meditation, talking to my sponsor, talking to my friend. Um, that releases fear's grip on me and it replaces that inner growing panic with just presence, with just being. Um, I was talking, I don't know if it was this morning or yesterday, I was in a meeting and I was talking about the importance of talking through stuff and how much the people in the meeting sit there and they listen. And some of them are nodding, some of them I can tell they're doing something else. But what they're doing for me, and they're there for themselves most of the time. But what they're doing for me is they're just being. And it's hard to just be. Um, it's it and showing up and being for myself doesn't mean that I don't have the fear. Um, Taking action and having that fear propel me doesn't mean that the fear just goes away. Like when I make that decision to have this fear propel me, the fear's not going away. The action is like generating this energy going in the correct direction. So it's taking action despite the fear. And just as I learn to take the action through the pain, um, I need to also learn how to fully feel joy. So, embracing the good while it's here, like fear of losing the good can prevent me from fully experiencing the good. And that's the way with my mom, with John who passed away. I wasn't fully feeling the good that he was even here. I wasn't full, I mean, I was too young to understand how beautiful young love is, how beautiful that that love, that like puppy love, not puppy dog, puppy love that I had for him, how that is. And today, um, well, before my daughter met her long-term boyfriend, but I mean it applies today, like with my kids having their partners right now, it's like it's a beautiful thing to have young love. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it in the world. I don't think there's anything like it in the world. And if we can help our young adults recognize that alone, that ability to feel young love should be paralleled with gratitude. And that gratitude anchors us to the present and allowing us to savor the moments that we have. Um, and there's a difference between savoring the moment that I have versus clinging to the moment. Um, Desperately clinging to the moment. Um, when my kids came to visit me at the Airbnb on, I guess that was last Sunday, so it hasn't been quite a week yet. But when they came to visit me, I was sitting in the sunroom with them and they were talking. Some of them were on their digital devices, and we were just being. And I was thinking of how much gratitude I felt that they were there, that they truly came there just for me, just for mom. And I really was savoring the moment. And then when they left, I was afraid. I was afraid that I was going to feel like, okay, the moment has passed. And now I'm left again. I'm left like it has ended and I'm left again alone. And that I feel like is clinging to them. That is like when they drive away, they drove away with me. They drove away with my heart. I let them take me with them. Of course, they're always going to take a piece of me with them, but that's not what I'm talking about. It's like I I gave my joy to them and let them drive away with it. And that is not fair to them. It's not fair to me. So gratitude can allow me to savor the moment and be present, but also understand that this is a moment that I will keep with me forever. Um, I can let those joyful moments flow freely without fearing the end. Um, just like I can let the difficult moments flow as they're supposed to. That's human. That's what it's all about, being human. Like the good stuff and the bad stuff flows through us and by us and around us. But when we cling to it in desperation, that's when my serenity goes away. It goes away because I don't know what to do. My depression takes over. And my depression can come out in good and bad times. Um, life, recovery, healing from whatever you're going through is a series of seasons. And the key to finding the serenity for me has been allowing the seasons to pass without trying to cling to them. Um, the steps of the program have given me these tools that allow me to ride the waves, to allow the seasons to happen, but not be full of fear throughout them, to remain present and to remain awake for each season. Um, so this too shall pass, I think has a much broader meaning for me today than what I have been using it for. It applies to the pain, it applies to the joy, it applies to the fear. But I think that self-awareness is what helps us navigate the seasons, without fear of them ending, without fear that they're going to end too soon, all of the stuff. Um, living through the moments and in between. And I'm really happy that I recorded today because it was getting late, but I don't want to keep missing it. I'm at the new house now, and I still feel a lot of symptoms, and it's been difficult, but I want to get back into my daily recording because it's so helpful to me, and I have definitely found some serenity tonight, just talking through all of this. So thanks so much for listening, and I will talk to you tomorrow.